Welcome back to another episode of Down Under the Crossbar podcast. We're talking about Arsenal, and we've said it only a couple of times this season that it can't all be sunshine and rainbows. 7 days ago, we were talking about it as the greatest weekend of all time. It was a win for Arsenal, and everyone else lost. And look, we're sitting here, and I'm trying not to be all doom and gloom. I know you are all doom and gloom. I'm trying to find some positives. 2-2 against Sunderland. It looked like it was going to be a 2-1 win after coming back from 1-0 down. And then Sunderland scored a 93rd minute equaliser and just put a dampener on your whole Sunday. Steve Payos is here to join me to dissect it all. Again, we were messaging before the sun came up yesterday morning. I can't even remember what we said to each other as that equaliser just trickled over the line. But how are you feeling sort of 24 to 36 hours on from that one?
BB, welcome to all of our viewers watching this magnificent broadcast of ours once a week. Where do we start? If I'm going to be the pessimist, then I want to hear plenty of optimism out of you, mate. We can play Jekyll and Hyde all you want on this
I'm the
episode if
optimist
that's what you want to do it, because I'll lay you out all of the positives I've heard from some English mates, from the local boys, from yourself, and you can tell me about all the negatives that are in your situation, mate. When that goal went in, to answer your question, I headbutted a glass window in the View Hotel that I was staying in Melbourne doing a fight night Saturday night. Not hard, but it was certainly, to a point where I was extremely disappointed, praying for a potential VAR to come in with a high boot, which was never going to happen in a million years. Rewatching a replay of David Raya making a massive howler for someone who had another brilliant game. That one howler or two howlers is what's seen keepers, removed from our club going in years gone by. We've had some unbelievable keepers that have gone on to become Premier League stalwarts. Can you believe that? We've had Szczesny, we've had Fabianski, we've had Bernd Leno, we've had Aaron Ramsdale. I mean, Ramsdale's not a staple at the moment, but he could be at any time. And the other guys have gone on to be Premier League staples at clubs. Martinez won an FA Cup. Fabianski won an FA Cup with us. But they were prone to the howler. And David Raya, for the amazing game that he had, made a massive mistake. Although Gabriel made a mistake as well in that the way he went and got down to it, he would have been better off with a right foot up, trying to sort of almost block it. And then by both of them coming out, they've just given credit to Mr. Robbie Dazzler, Brian Broby Dazzler, with just seeing them out and going, I'm going to try and get a foot to this and put it over. It was heartbreak for me, mate, purely because you've been doing this as long as I have, mate. And in 25 years, I've seen a million different hammer blows. But that one really hurt. Now, so many people, again, we can debate this now for the whole episode. I don't care. We probably should talk about City and Liverpool for a little bit. But there's so much discussion about the fact, I've heard it all, Sunderland away, it's a tough game, it's a good point. They're a physical side. They really gave us a physical battle. I would have taken a point at half-time was another one that was thrown at me. Would you have taken we went into the last international break, I think it was with a 2-point lead, BB, or 3-point lead. We've now extended that to 4. So would you have taken that? You've got an extension on your lead at the top of the table after last international break in the last 4 games to this one. You can't win every game in the Premier League. You're always going to concede. You're breaking the clean sheet record and not conceding for 814 minutes across all comps. It's going to come to an end eventually, blah, 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 blah. The problem is, mate, I feel like I've heard it all. I've received lots of stick from different types of people. Some of our mutual mates have been giving us a little bit of stick as well about, handling the pressure. And for me, mate, unfortunately, it just brings back, they talk about like PTSD. Now, this is not a serious situation when it comes to PTSD. So I'm not trying to, what's the word? I'm not trying to douse the flames on when it is quite serious. Get you downplay. It's a word. Thank you. But certainly when it comes to this, mate, I've seen that many butcherings of the Premier League since, we butchered the 2000 Premier League as well. Let's be honest. If you're going to go that far, we butchered it in 08, 11. We butchered it in 16 with Leicester. We butchered it 23. We butchered it 24. There's been so many years where we've had, these tough games. Now, the reason I won't say it negative, but I'll say it in what I'm trying to put in perspective, and I'll let you completely come out and rectify what I'm saying in the reverse. Sunderland are a promoted team. I don't care what anyone says. They're not going to finish in the top 4. They're not going to probably finish in the top 6 or European places. They'll have a great first, half of the season. they'll peter out. They'll have a magnificent ending of 10th, 9th, 12th, somewhere like that. And everyone will go, what a season. They'll be happy as Larry. And well-deserved. They're a good side. But they're a promoted team. You need to take 6 points home and away off promoted teams if you're going to win the Premier League. That's just my opinion. We dropped 2 points against a team that, realistically, if you want to go Stato style again, they didn't have a whole lot of shots on target, realistically. The first goal was a second ball. It was a header back off a second ball. Declan Rice, for as immense as he's been, immaculate as he's been, he lets a ball go through a central defender, smashes it past Raya 1-0. Second ball then in the 94th minute, where all you really need to do is let that second ball come in and then basically set some guys in zonally in the middle of the park to just go whack, or Raya commands his box better and comes out and takes it, and we move on. Next step, I keep hearing, don't worry, we've got such a deep squad. We've got 6 attackers coming back for the next game, or very close to having a full squad, especially with an attacking complement. Having a full squad means nothing, BB, if you're not going to use the players at your disposal properly. Arteta makes 1 substitution on the weekend, Mosquera for Eze, effectively moving to a back 5. Perfectly fine with that. You've got Norgard, you've got Wanyeri, you've got Hincapié, you've got Ben White, you've got Miles Lewis-Skelly. Any one of those guys could form the changes of another 4 changes, where Zubimendi was looking tired. Deckers has got to be an injury risk now, BB. I'm sorry. He's got to be an injury risk when he goes to England now. He's played nearly every minute of the last 7 games, barring the Carabao Cup game, but he still came on for that and played 30, 35 minutes. If you're not going to use your squad, it doesn't matter how deep it is, because these are the trust issues that Arteta had years ago, where he played the same squad in the 2023-2024 season. Yes, we sort of mowed down, 16 wins out of 18 to end the season, and we only won 1 and drew 1 at the end. But at the end of the day, he stuck to a side then and got lucky with only 14, 15 players, and was still short anyway. Right now, he's got the cattle, and he didn't use them. And I cannot understand for the life of me, if you're going to just go ultra defensive like that, then do it. But get another 4 fresh bodies in the middle who have legs, who can pass the ball, who can hold the ball. Wanyeri can draw fouls. Get Dowman on. Dowman's an expert at drawing fouls. Get him on the ball, on the wide for Saka. Get him the ball to his feet. Get him running at guys. Foul, waste 30 seconds a minute, waste 30 seconds a minute. The final part of the argument is, if you're going to win the Premier League, you cannot be conceding goals, in injury time. A mate of mine said to me today, he goes, yeah, but mate, if that was conceded in, the 80th minute, the 60th minute, it was 2-1 and then 2-2. I say, yeah, fair enough. You've got a point, but you've got to look at the circumstances. You've hit injury time. Doesn't matter if it's 6 minutes, 7 minutes, whatever the case may be. You've hit injury time. You've got to hold it out. You've got to see it out. And we look comfortable. We had a brilliant second half. Why didn't we start like that in the first half? Like, I thought we were just disjointed and not playing well first half. And then what we've gone and done is just effectively, I wouldn't say thrown it away, but after Trossard scores, we had another 5 minutes where Deckers, tries to do his prime, Xabi Alonso, and chip the keeper. And if he does that, we're 3-1 and home and host. In the end, it was probably from 80 on, you could start to sense it. You remember, BB, that stat that came up at about 84, 85 minutes, and it said, Sunderland have had, 85% possession in the last 5 minutes or something like that. Well, I can't remember what it was. It could have been 65 over the last 10 minutes. It's like, yeah, we can feel that they're coming here. The crowd is roaring behind them. And I'm sick and tired of this. It's a tough place to go, blah, 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 blah. There shouldn't be any tough place to go if you're going to win the Premier League. You'll have tough matches, but if you're a good enough squad, there should be no tough place to go. I'll leave it at that. So I'm going to hand it back to you now, because I really want to hear what you've got to say and where those positives are. There are positives to look at it, no doubt about it, but into an international break now, 2 weeks off. Tottenham at home, that's going to be anything after international break, with those guys having the best away record in the league. Chelsea away after that, they've snuck up to 3rd place after some very mixed results, but they're sitting pretty in 3rd at the moment. They'll be tough at the bridge. Brentford in a London derby. Aston Villa away, they've snuck up to 5th or 6th, I think, BB. They're in a relegation zone not even 5 weeks ago. Everton just before Christmas. It's not all doom and gloom. I'm not here saying we're going to be behind at Christmas, but I am saying we're about to hit a really tough run of fixtures with Bayern Munich and Bruges as well. So, yeah, disappointing, mate. It's been a hard couple of days, that's for sure.
I will say that it looked like a very tired outfit in that first half, until like not as if we were getting outplayed. Well, I think Arsenal were better for the whole game, apart from the final sort of 5 minutes and then injury time at the end. But they looked tired, and I think maybe that's where the first goal came in that Declan Rice didn't get up for the header.
Mhm.
Gabriel didn't get there, and then Rice was just a half a step off, or they're both sort of a half a
Correct.
step off
Correct.
with the shot. And you can't put anything on Raya for the first one. That's just
No way.
all power. Like there's nothing there, right? Um,
Mhm.
both teams looked worse when they went into a lead. Sunderland scored and immediately went back 10 almost on the edge of the box. They didn't start
Retreated.
out like that. It wasn't the first 30 minutes. They pressed really well. Like they were obviously they were defensive and sitting tight, but they weren't sitting deep and tight. They pressed really well. They made it real physical. The most physical game I think Arsenal played of the season
Great.
against an Arsenal side that's a little tired. Then Sunderland go 1-0 up, and then I felt their mentality change, and they're like, we're 1-0 up. That's when you sit in and stick in. And that's conversely kind of weirdly, maybe just due to circumstance, you're chasing a goal, you're chasing a game. Arsenal maybe had the best half an hour of the season. Just fluid attack. Even though Sunderland was sitting deep, um, it wasn't hurried, it wasn't stressed. There were calm shots around the box. There was play from deep. Rice to win that ball for Saka's goal. I thought that was fantastic. But where that all leads to is the only one substitution, right? And I kind of get both sides of it. What I'm saying is because Sunderland were so physical, such a big side, just in your face, they weren't afraid to give away free kicks and yellow cards. They fucking. I'd hate to see Bukayo Saka's ankles today because he just got nibbled and chopped the whole game. So, so the counter argument is Dowman's only 15. Don't throw him into that. Miles Lewis Skelly was going to come on for a big bloke like Calafiori. You sort of see
I would
that,
have brought him on in midfield though, BB. I would have brought him on in midfield just to hold the
but maybe
ball.
for
And it took like,
Zubimendi or yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I would have taken Zubi and Rice off. I know that sounds a little bit controversial perhaps because they're both big names, but I would have had Miles. I would have brought on Norgard. I would have brought
And
Eze
Hincapié
on for Tross, and then and Hincapié on for anyone. Hincapié
and
on
Ben
for
White too.
anyone.
You got a big, good, rough, rugged defender in Ben White. So
Correct.
I kind of get it, but and it was only so Arsenal were up 2-0 and still going for a third until the final 5 minutes of regulation. And I
Mm-hmm.
don't know whether there was something that changed, but you could sense that mentality. That's when that stat came up, the possession stat at the end, and you could see it. Like everyone was deeper. Eze was deeper. There were times in the first sort of half an hour of the first half where Eze was playing as a striker and Marino was coming back into that 10. And look, it's not because of that, but that's when Arsenal looked and played the best in the whole game, and I could argue didn't look as fluid as they did at any point in the season until that 30 minutes. So there's a couple of things, right? So it wasn't until the last 5 minutes and Mosquera had been on that this change in mindset came in. And I understand why maybe you don't want to risk down when you don't want to risk a couple of those other ones, but I do think that Hincapié, White, and Norgard would have,
Norgard.
I don't know
Have
what
to.
they could have made a difference.
Yeah.
Um,
Would have. Would have.
and look, I think
Even
look
even
tired.
BB, even just to chew time. Even just to chew time, mate. You get 30
Yeah,
seconds,
yeah,
40
yeah.
seconds per sub. The ball goes out 40-20 down there and 40-20 down there and make the change. Make the change. Like, who cares? I say don't make changes when you're on a defensive throw-in or something like that. It doesn't matter with these guys. They're proper defenders. This is not like, oh, we're going to go to, we're on the last corner of the game and we're going to take off a forward and put on a Wanyeri. It's not that. It's about getting some fresh legs on. Make the change, kill some time. Make the change, kill some time. All the dark arts are going to, if they're going to accuse us of it, then let them accuse us of it and go for it. Dark art it up. He missed a beat there, mate. Missed a massive beat. And the PDS Dean has again, he goes, I've seen this before. Doesn't trust the squad. Oh, we've got the best squad in the league. Well, that doesn't matter if you're not going to use it. You can have 15 players on. If we have a full complement, we've got 25 of the best players you've ever seen. I agree with that. But you can only play 11 every week. And if you don't pick the right teams and you don't make the right subs, it doesn't matter.
And that's another part of it too, in that you hit it on the head there. Is your PTSD because you look at Man City, and I think you can only say this about Man City. They know how to be front runners. They know what they want to do. They know how they want to play. Everyone from Pep on down knows what's going on. I felt there that in the final 5 minutes of regulation against Sunderland, they'd been looking for a third, and then all of a sudden it was let's sit in, let's sit
Mhm.
in, and that to me that sort of is just it's an indicator of so it's been going good, we're winning, we come back, we're playing good football. Why are we changing it? So there's this mentality of you don't know how to be front runners, you don't know how to be 5 6 points clear at the top of the table and not get the speed wobbles, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
That's what that whole final 10 to 15 minutes looked like to me. And it's not something, yeah, I hadn't really thought about it because I thought, look, we've spoken about the mentality behind, using the last couple of seasons, using the disappointments of those few seasons that got away to fuel into this, to sort of realize, hey, we're more than that now. We've added this and we've got this and we can win, and like that belief. But then you're out there and it's 2-1 and you've come back, and then all of a sudden it's kind of like you kind of revert to what you think what you think you should do rather than what got you there in the first place. So
Correct.
that's what I took out of that last little bit. Two other things probably should have been, going into the last 5 minutes, probably should have been 4-1. Zubi hit the post. Eze could have scored twice.
Oh,
Uh,
that volley that fell on his left foot and he
the
hits it
volley,
straight at the keeper.
Saliba skying the volley.
Oh,
Uh, Even after it was 2-2, Calafiori, the header was a fantastic save.
mhm.
And Marino, I think, just couldn't get the follow up. And I feel that's probably something that's not been mentioned enough this season, because you get 1-0 and it's scoring off corners and free kicks, but we probably should have scored a lot more goals than we
Yep.
have.
Yep.
And like the guy that comes up is Eze is just he's getting shots on target, and they're not easy shots. They're usually from beyond the penalty spot, right? So they're tough shots, but eventually, mate, you got to start scoring those goals. We messaged each other when he hit that early in the second half. He hit one at the keeper, right?
Yep.
Saka sprayed one just wide of the post, and so it should have been 4-1, I reckon, going into the final 4 minutes.
I listened to something that was really pertinent, I thought, today, and it was Shaka Hislop on ESPN FC, and I thought he made a lot of sense because sometimes he doesn't. But this time he really made some sense, BB. And what he said this season, for all of the magnificent plaudits for Arsenal and winning the tight games when we've had to, the comeback against Newcastle, the tight win against Palace, the clean sheet record and all this sort of stuff. He said Arsenal, apart from one result this year, I mean, and maybe you can call Atletico probably this, Atletico may be fair enough, the way that we sort of, really dismantled them in a 13-minute period. But Leeds United, apart from Leeds United, a really comfortable Premier League win. He goes, Arsenal have not been, they've been comfortable in the context that they've won a lot of games well in the Premier League. If you're going to talk, Burnley was a good win. Yes, it was only Burnley, but it was a good win. Um, you know, but only by 2 goals. The Palace win was tight. You've had other games. The City game, look, the City game was a 1-1. We've had a tight win away against Manchester United. And we've also had some other good home wins versus West Ham, but only by 2. And there's
Mhm.
another couple in there, obviously. But his point is that we still haven't seen Arsenal just dismantle teams. And whilst you can be extremely great defensively and all of this sort of thing, the really good teams, even your Chelsea's back in '05 when they conceded 12, they had plenty of games where they won 4-0 BB or 4-1
Yeah.
or 3-0 or 4-0. And that's what we haven't done at all this Premier League season, bar a woeful Leeds United on day one. So what I think his point is that we've got to start seeing now more goals. Now, the argument of my mate in England who was saying, well, we're going to have 6 attackers back next game. I don't think you're going to see all 6 of those on the bench, though. Like, you're not going to see Havertz, Madueke, Odegaard Jesus, all of these guys straight back on the bench, because what are you going to do? You're just going to bin Norgard, you're going to bin all these defensive players. We're going to need potentially Ben White. You're not going to do that. So what it means is that all of a sudden, how nervous do we go into a Tottenham game where, again, they're an anomaly of any, they're I don't know what to say. They've been brilliant at times away from home. They've been very solid at home in the Champions League. They've also been woeful at times, and they were woeful all game last week against Chelsea, lost. They were woeful against Man United for the best part of 80 minutes and somehow led 2-1 in injury time. Richarlison celebrating like he won the World Cup. And Spurs being Spursy, then just go ahead and give it away because they leave the lit free to eat his lunch at the back post and he nods in without having to move. Same way Mbumo didn't have to do anything when he scored. So again, moving forward, it's like I'm just praying for a 3-0, a comfortable 3-0 against Tottenham with nothing to worry about. Because I know that people can say whatever they want. Chelsea is still toothless, spineless. They're not the same Chelsea. It doesn't matter. Stamford Bridge on a Sunday afternoon on the Sky Sports game, the whole country watching, the pressure will be on. And we haven't lost there for 6 years, right? And we won 3 in a row going back 3, 4, and 5 seasons ago. But we were lucky to get a 2-2 a few years back after being 2 down. And we were 1-1 there last year after leading and just letting Neto run free and put one in the bottom corner. So I don't carry a whole lot of confidence going into that game. Villa away was our following away game after that. We should beat Brentford at home and Wolves at home. Everton away after that. Mate, after City play Newcastle away next, I think it's Sunderland at home, Fulham away, Brentford at home. They've got some very winnable games. So I'd like to hear from you now. What are those positives that come out of it in the context of this whole Sunderland away is a tough game. It's a good point, best atmosphere, physical team. Like, what are the positives? Because the PTSD in me just has me extremely worried.
Look, having put it into context, here's some more context. It feels like this whole season, the first month, sort of late August, September, that was Liverpool scraping these wins, and we were sitting here, 2-3 months ago, going, "Oh, they're 5 points clear, shit's all over." And Arsenal would come in, have 5-6 weeks of winning. Liverpool drops off, and now it looks like Man City's coming. Man City's the one you're worried about, right? If there's just these crazy.
I picked them start of the year.
You did pick him. Yeah. You did pick him, and I picked Liverpool, and there is no way Liverpool's winning the league. There is no way. They are a rebel. Look, unless something phenomenal happens up there, I just can't see them clawing that much ground back on too many teams. So City's the one you're worried about, and it looks like they're coming good with a bit of momentum. And I know it's not how football works, but the season it's long, so you're gonna have these changes and these swings. And I think, look, if you sit here and go, again, promoted team, it's look, you say they're a promoted team, but they're better than a promoted team. They recruited well over the offseason. Granit Xhaka has been incredible. Still walk away with the point. Yes, should have been 3. Late thing. But just look at that whole game, and I think there's more positives to take out of it than negatives, and more learnings as well. I think looking long term, thinking long term, I just think that there are things to take out of that one that will you look back and you go, oh, we're not going to do that again. We're going for a goal. We're going for a third goal, and Ray was on fire. He made us a couple of saves. Other than that, and that was from I think a corner or throw-in. Other than that, barely looked like conceding. GX for Sunderland was like 0.5 or something. Just keep doing that. Don't change. Don't go into your shells. Don't have these speed wobbles. I know it's easier said than done, but I think going ahead, that's probably one thing to take out of it. I want to mention, it's not that I don't like jumping on referees and officials, but the free kick for Sunderland's first goal, if you change it up just a little and think if that's in the box and VAR has a look and it's a penalty, no penalty, it's getting overruled because he got all ball. And
he got carded for it,
and he got yellow carded. That it's just, look, it didn't. well, obviously it had a massive impact on the game. I'm not saying it was the reason Arsenal dropped 2 points, but it just and there were other moments in the game where it's just like, mate, come on, like I get it, like goes foul, you sort of play advantage and go on, but you're sitting there going, that is a free kick in a very good spot, and Bukayo Saka has just been hacked going away from a
Mhm.
bloke. Blow the
Mhm.
fucking whistle and let's have a free kick.
It was Eze.
It's
You're
just
right. You're
things like
spot on.
that.
It was Eze. Remember, Eze
Is
got
it?
absolutely hammered, and then it
Yes,
moves up, and then Zubabendi gets all ball, and then he gives Zubabendi a yellow, and then they bomb a
that's it.
free kick forward, of which they second ball and then score, mate. Disgrace.
That's it. That's it. And look, that's that. To be fair, that's all. That's all Sunderland were doing. It's old school route one into the mixer. That's how they scored
And it
both
was
those
second
goals.
ball. It was all second ball. That's the
Second
thing
ball.
as well. Like as a defensive team, you've got to see that. Like let either man mark in the center of the pitch and zonal mark on the edges, so that you can let them do that. I mean, yeah, I mean, yes, you don't want to have a free header and then sort of aim at exactly what they want. But if you zonal mark, it's going to take a lot of effort for them to actually get that ball, into very good areas in the box. And then if you're man marking in the box, you can then come out and head the ball away, right? And if you do that, we were comfortable with that for the most part, as you said.
The second goal for me, that's on Raya. Didn't need to come out. If you're going to come out, and you got to get it. But I don't think there
Yeah.
was any need for him to come out. If he'd stayed back or just jockeyed, I think Gabriel may have had a better chance of getting the ball. And even if he didn't, even if it all happened, it just would have trickled to him, and it would have been 2-1. Happy days. We move on. But what are you going to do? I mean, say he's not had anything to do, and it's some of those saves he made. I was like, oh look, it's not like he's rusty or anything. Like he played really well until he didn't until he had an absolute shocker there at the end. Um, we got a couple of minutes left. Liverpool going down 3-0 to Man City, who
Getting
played.
battered. I'm not having anything else from any Liverpool fans, mate. They were flogged. They were flogged in the first half. They had a better second half with one shot on target. Individuals that you and I are arguing with today that apparently they're still going to come good and go well. They got flogged. They got absolutely punished. And then in the
Yeah,
second half, Gakpo should have hit the target. So you could call that. I mean, I know they don't call that a shot on target. He should have scored. Salah chips it wide, should have scored. But really, I mean, the header, you could argue that the Van Dijk header as well. I mean, I don't think Robbo was in his view, so I'm not massive on that disallowed goal. But what I would say is that I don't think anything that happens yesterday changes the result itself. I think City win that game regardless. You were spot on. You said it was going to be 2-0 City. I said
2-0.
1-1. And where I was over Sunday when I texted you and said I can actually see City winning now. I think I put it somewhere in writing. I said I've got a feeling now City are going to win. Even the most ardent Liverpool fans were saying, "Look, there's talk that we can go there and win, but the best thing we can do is nick a point. You take a point right now, but for someone we know to say that they're going to win 3-0 there, that is just total gibber. Not even close, mate. What did you make of it? Because you watched the whole thing. I just
Yeah,
watched the mini. I watched the mini and read everything I could on it. But you watched it, and it was just a terrible performance.
it, as bad as Liverpool were, City were scarily good. Sitting watching it this morning as an Arsenal fan and knowing, we've sort of said, oh, they're a one-man scoring team. I think certainly before this weekend, maybe before last weekend, second highest goal scorer for Man
Mm-hmm.
City was own goals. It was Haaland and then a
Maxime Esteve
gap
from
of 10.
Burnley.
Yeah, yeah. There's Haaland and then 10 goals back, own goals. But they played some good football, man. Like, so you're sitting there watching, going, look, I just resent the whole Man City thing coming in, whatever it was, 15, 16 years ago, and just flushed with all this money all of a sudden. Like, where these fans come from? All that, like, I just have this big sort
They're
of chip
still
on my
empty,
shoulder.
mate. They're still empty.
I
They can
thought, yeah,
sell it, don't worry. You see the
empty
empty they
head.
had last night? They've got
Yeah,
the whole goal behind the opposite goal. So the goal where the away fans are is where, as
yeah.
you're looking at the TV to the right, the whole left stand upper tier, there's 5 tiers that they close for home games. That's Liverpool at home, and they close 4 stands up there and just put all these banners and stuff up there. They are a
God, it
disgrace,
pisses
mate.
me off. It pisses me
Please.
off. So it pisses me off, and like I just don't give them any credit for anything ever, really. But I was sitting there going, oh, yeah, that's nice. That is objectively enjoyable to watch, to see unfold. Doku had probably the best individual game of anyone this season
Mm-hmm.
in any team.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, long story short, I'm sitting there going, that is a worry. That is a worry. If we're sitting here 2, 3 weeks ago with a 5, 6 point lead at the top of the table going, happy days, it's a very, very different story. And like I said earlier, it's a Man City team that has won, that knows how to win and knows what they're doing. And it's an Arsenal team that is very good, very deep, good squad, good coaching, but
How to do it.
don't know how to do it, never experienced that. And that's what's got me worried now. And likewise, Liverpool don't know how to be the defending title holders.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's a lot more there. Look, we've got less than a minute left, but I
So
think they've bought too many players.
Was it City for you, mate? Is it City for you is the only challenger Liverpool are gone? You're confirming that?
Yeah, look, it's City as the number one contender. There are other teams there that I'll wait. You wait to see how plays out, right? Like a month ago, you would never thought Chelsea would be there, but they're third on the table. It's probably the only other team, unless Liverpool gets it together. Unless they get it together, can't see them making a run, and I don't see them really putting it together. Like it feels like they bought too many. They bought too many pieces of the puzzle, and they don't know. They don't even know what puzzle they're doing at the moment. That's what it feels like.
You're right. They can't find it, can they? They just can't find the
Exactly.
right pieces. Or they find two of the same piece and go, hang on, I've already done that piece. What's happening?
Exactly. Tottenham's there or thereabouts. They won't be. I can't see them being there at the end of the season. And then you got your Villas, Bournemouth, Palace is up there. Man United is coming good, but you still saw on the weekend letting that 1-0 lead against Tottenham go to 2-2. So I don't trust them to stay good. So it's City, it's Liverpool with a big asterisk, and it's a look. Let's just wait and see on Chelsea. I don't think so, but Chelsea's probably the next one on my list anyway.
Victor. All right, baby. Brilliant stuff, mate. I like your positive viewpoint. Let's hope that in 2 weeks' time, we see a win over Tottenham and we're back on the happy days. And then Bayern Munich and Chelsea away. It's definitely not going to be season defining, but it could be defining somewhat. We'll see us next week, hey, BB. We'll do a little wrap up of some international stuff. And a few other topics as we move forward, and then we get ready to chug on into a big core part of the season. The Premier League will be back in late November, and then it goes all the way through till sort of March the 10th, I think, before the next international break. So there'll be so much football, FA Cup, Champions League. It's all happening.
Absolutely, and we'll be looking to welcome back a few players over the next month or so as well. Get some of that attacking depth, maybe some goal scoring back on deck as well. All right, mate. We'll talk next week. Have a good one.
Champion. See you soon, baby.